Hi everyone. I was only saying just the other day in my live stream that this job sometimes is easy. Doing this job better than 99% of the journalists out there, honestly, is easy. And remember, I'm working on a budget of, as I've said, it's modest budget compared to the likes of the Guardian and the Independent, who have got millions and sometimes billions behind them, especially with the BBC, 35,000 employees, and I can still get things right from my council flat that they get wrong consistently. On this story that I'm about to tell you, consistently, over and over again, I've been giving you the facts and the truth, and they've been giving you propaganda and lies. Because what am I talking about? Well, as you can tell by the title, there's been another leak from within the OPCW. And you know what? Another one, and this is obviously regarding the Dimmack incident in 2018. This is the alleged chemical weapons attack perpetrated by Assad, according to Theresa May, Emmanuel Macron, and Trump, who then bombed the country. Perpetrated by Assad, a chemical weapons attack in the city of Dimmack, while he was winning the war against them, and the only people that a chemical weapons attack actually benefited at that time, according to experts, were the rebels. So why would Assad do it? There was a big rush to judgment. By the way, the timeline of this, if you're hazy on what was going on in April 2018, this is about a month after the Skripal poisonings, and a couple of weeks or a week after Assange had been gagged in the Ecuadorian embassy, and Trump had announced he was pulling out of Syria. Those things happened, and then this thing happened in Syria, this chemical weapons attack, which I said pretty early on, yeah, I'm convinced that that's a false flag. And I've been proven right over and over again. And you know what? I said the media are not talking about this. Well, here's the news tab. And as you can see, this was 3-4 hours old. This story is this break from, and by the way, it's WikiLeaks again. I'll show you it, who have given this leak that basically just says that, yeah, the OPCW, they're constructing a narrative here, and it's just bullshit, the whole thing. They're trying to suppress it. Look, the only people reporting on it, I've just refreshed this page. This is a Google search on the news tab. The only people reporting on it so far, as you can see there, is RT. Have a look, see if any of the mainstream have picked it up, shall we? No, none of them. That's it. AMN, Al Masdar News, and RT. This is the biggest story on the planet right now, and the media don't want to talk about it. We are living in 1984. I swear we are. War is peace. Freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. Because they're obviously keeping you ignorant, the media are, and the government. They're not telling you actually what's going on and what they're doing in your name with your taxes. All right, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the WikiLeaks and a leak from within the OPCW again. Here it is. Email from the Chief of Cabinet at the OPCW. This is an internal email from the Chief of Cabinet at the OPCW demanding the deletion of the dissenting engineering assessment. Now, you remember this is the first leak that I reported on that was leaked to the Working Group of Syria Propaganda and Media. That's Piers Robinson, David Miller, Vanessa Beeley, all those great journalists and academics who, by the way, were mercilessly attacked by members of the Integrity Initiative when they published that leak. This is the leak that it's in reference to, the Ian Henderson one. Quote, please get this document out of DRA, which means the Documents Registry Archive, in other words, scrub all trace of it, and please remove all traces, if any, of its delivery, storage, whatever, in the DRA. And there it is. There's the email. I'll read you a little bit of this. I won't go through. There's obviously more documents as well. There's all the internal emails, etc. There's minutes of a meeting where, the experts are saying, should we dig these bodies up? And it looks like the experts came to the conclusion, no, there's no need. We know that it was inconsistent with the chlorine attack, which was the official narrative that they settled on in the end, after immediately declaring it was sarin. That's what the Americans said. I'll read this from WikiLeaks. Today, WikiLeaks releases more internal documents from the OPCW regarding the investigation into the alleged chemical attack in Douma in April 2018. As soon as I knew it was filmed by the White Helmets, I went, hold on a minute. As soon as I knew it was Bellingcat who was giving us the information that proved these gas cylinders were dropped from a helicopter, I and many others went, hold on. Including, I seem to remember, Jeremy fricking Corbyn, who was attacked, I seem to remember, as some sort of Russian stooge by our media. One of the documents is an email exchange dated 27th and the 28th of February between members of the fact-finding mission deployed to Douma and the senior officials of the OPCW. It includes an email from Sebastian Braha. Thank you to Catcher's Compass for tagging me in this photo. That's him. That's Sebastian Braha of the OPCW. Let's take my visual away so you can see. That's his name tag. That's the guy who wrote this email. Said, please get this document out of the DRA and please remove all traces, if any, of its delivery, storage, whatever in the DRA. Why did you do that, Sebastian? Why did you do that? Was that under your own volition, Sebastian, as a head of a reputed worldwide United Nations accredited organisation? Remember, this is who the United Nations rely on for their truth. What's going on here? Are the United Nations lying to us as well as our governments? I want to know what's going on. Don't you? Our media are silent. Silent. The main finding of Henderson, like I say, Ian Henderson was the guy who leaked the original document to the working group of Syria propaganda and media. Please get the main finding of Henderson, who inspected the sites in Douma and two cylinders that were found on the site of the alleged attack, was that they were more likely manually placed there than dropped from plane or helicopter from considerable heights. His findings were omitted from the official finding OPCW report on the Douma incident. And then it goes on to talk about the minutes of that other meeting and other emails as well. I'll leave a link to this below when I drop it as a video. They attacked, remember, anybody who tried to get the truth out, and it is now, the truth. This is the truth. I am convinced that this is a false flag that happened, and we bombed that country on the basis of it. That's the supreme war crime. All along, while this was happening, anybody who told the truth, anybody who questioned this narrative that it was Assad that did it and us bombing him was the right thing to do. By the way, Raytheon stocks, Lockheed Martins, they went up the day after. Theresa May's husband, his hedge fund, lots of stocks in those sort of companies. He made a fortune that day. But anybody, it doesn't matter who they are, if they question the narrative, oh boy, were they in for some trouble. Here's Afshin Rattansi, the great Afshin, reminding us all of Andrew Neil. Andrew Neil, the BBC's Andrew Neil. This hasn't aged well, Afshin says. Who is the conspiracist now, Andrew Neil, given our country appears to have bombed another on information you promoted? Yeah, here's the link through to Andrew Neil. The US anchor should have pushed back much harder on Tulsi Gabbard, because the professor she quotes is a well-known conspiracist. Really? I wonder which professor that is. I haven't read it, but I tell you what, he's not going to... I haven't listened to that interview. But I can tell you, Tulsi Gabbard was like me. She was right on it. It's not hard to be right about these things, which tells you that if the media are getting it wrong, they're getting it wrong on purpose and they're lying to you. They're just lying to you. And anybody who had the gall, like Tulsi Gabbard did that, remember, she was called a toady by a New York Times writer. A toady on the Joe Rogan show. And then couldn't explain what toady meant. Or how to spell it. She got that wrong too. Anybody who questioned this narrative and just had a saner mind and just, hold on a minute, we haven't seen any evidence, anybody was smeared. Including Tulsi Gabbard by Andrew Neil, our, I suppose, most flagship BBC reporter. We are being treated like mushrooms, you and I. We are being kept in the dark and we are being fed on absolute bullshit. Our media are silent on what now, honestly, I'm inclined to believe is story of the century, let alone the year. If you look at all the angles that it goes in, you know, let's not forget, those bodies had to come from somewhere. Do you remember those bodies that Ivanka Trump, according to the media in America, yes, while I was actually investigating what actually went on in Duma, what do we know? The media in America was saying, oh, Trump bombed Syria because Ivanka Trump said, oh, look at the babies. That's what they were concentrating on. Ivanka Trump, according to them, that made Trump bomb Syria. Finally, he didn't want to do it, according to, I think it was the Washington Post, or was it the New York Times? Doesn't matter. They're all propaganda. That's what they were doing. I have been right on this all along, and they have been consistently wrong. And you have to ask, it must be on purpose. It must. They must be doing it. They must be doing it for a reason. They've either been told, or, more worryingly, they haven't, and they're doing it just automatically. You know, you've got guys who try to bring the story up in Newsweek, as Aaron Marte interviewed him the other day, Tarek, who tried to write about it in Newsweek and had to resign because they were stonewalling. They wouldn't let him print the truth about a war crime that we committed. Do you still think we have a fourth estate holding power to account, protecting democracy? Still think we have a democracy? I say it's time for a new media because they're not talking about this, and I am. And other independent media like me are. I'm not the only one who's got this right. It's independent media that is getting it right. And that's why you need to support them. Because you've got to make Orwell fiction again. This is literally them trying to say to you, war is peace and ignorance is strength. And it's frightening. And on that note, I just want to say to you, on that sad note, I just want to say to you all, the date is the 27th of December, so this is just after Christmas. I want to say to you all, a very happy Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful New Year. And yeah, I'll be back on New Year's Eve with my end of year wrap. And I hope you will join me. Support independent media, everybody. We are giving you the truth. And our supposed watchdogs, they're lying to you all. And they could be complicit in murder here. Those bodies had to come from somewhere. Thanks very much for watching. Please make sure you subscribe and click the bell below so you get a notification when I drop further videos. I am not going to get any rewards from the Google algorithm for getting this right. The people who will be rewarded are the people who got this wrong consistently on purpose. Support us, share our work, like the stream if you can. It really does help. Thanks very much for watching. See you all soon.